Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To fulfill our group assignment task for chapter 5, today we would like to present our chosen topic, which is application of concept of hibah in Islamic financial institution. My name is Wan Nur Syafiqah binti Wan Nasri, and my matric number is 1192422. My other group mates are Nur Laili binti Azman, 1192394. Bariatun Nura binti Muhammad Ghani, 1192418, and Fatin Nabihah binti Zainudin, 1192406. So, as the introduction part, I would like to begin by giving some definition regarding our topic. According to Malaysia government, hibah is the granting without consideration of ownership of property from one party to another that occurs during the life of a provider of hibah, rendered willingly, not intended to glorify anyone, and granted by reciting an ijab and kabul or any such words. So, in a simplest way, hibah can be defined as a gift of property to anyone and does not need to get consent from their heirs if they want to be given the property. Besides that, Islamic financial institutions are party of the modern world economy and subject to the same economic laws as any other traditional financial market participant, but this institution must comply with Islamic law and Sharia compliance way. But they also serve Muslim and non-Muslim population throughout the world. There are few types of Islamic financial institutions, such as Islamic banks, Islamic capital market, and Islamic index provider. Islamic banks have many functions that mirror those of their conventional counterparts, but the product look very different from those available at conventional commercial bank, and the ways in which Islamic bank invest its funds differ significantly as well. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, CIMB Bank Islamic Berhad, and Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad are examples for Islamic bank. Capital market is where Sharia compliance financial assets are transacted. Individuals and institutions involved in this market work parallel to those in the conventional capital market, and they also help investors to find a Sharia compliant investment opportunity. Non-Muslim customers also can be the investor in this market. Islamic funds, sukuk or Islamic bonds, and Islamic interbank money market funds, which are quite new and just now developing, are examples of products that are bought and sold in the Islamic capital market. But this capital market likely to grow and include more types of investment product because this capital market is very young and the Islamic financial industry matures. Bursa Malaysia and London Stock Exchange are examples of this Islamic capital market. Of Islamic financial institution is Islamic index provider. Their investment performance was calculated against well-known traditional indices when Islamic investment funds were first created, such as the S&P 500. But that analogy was flawed because in so many of sectors covered by those indices, Islamic fund cannot invest. Dow Jones Islamic indexes and Libo indexes are the example of the Islamic index provider. To explain more about our topic, we divided into three subtopics, which is hibah in takaful insurance, differences of hibah and wasiat in financial institution according to Syar'i, and the last one is savings with security, wadiah yat dama, that will be explained by my group mates.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatin Nabihah binti Zainudin, then matrix number 11924006. I would like to present for my part in this presentation, which is hibah in takaful insurance. Okay, definition of hibah. Hibah is the granting of ownership of the property from one party to another without any consideration or reward that occurs during the life of the hibah provider, made on voluntary basis, not intended to glorify anyone and given by reciting ijab and qabul or any such expression. Definition of takaful. Takaful, it comes from the word takafala. It means ensuring one another, thus creating an alliance where the participants contribute to a common fund which will be used to help any participant suffering from misfortunes such as death, disability, or accident. Takaful may be sort of Islamic protection. Takaful branded protections are based on Sharia or Islamic divorce law. They clarifies how people are dependable to coordinate and secure one another. The careful approach covers well-being, life, and common life needs. Okay, next, um, why HIPAA is a must in takaful insurance? Execution conditional of HIPAA in takaful is a must because we want to guarantee privilege of the recipient to the takaful advantage upon the passing of the takaful member, indeed in spite of the fact that he has not however taken ownership of the takaful advantage. Second, how does hibah practice in takaful industry? Hibah as practice in takaful may be a conditional hibah, which is revocable and might as it be take impact after the passing of member or the covered person. Conjointly, the member is now not lively and is completed as it were after the beneficiary of takaful hibah recognize the receipt of hibah. And there are sometimes there are not sometimes sorry there are conditions and requirements for hibah practice in takaful. There are four, which are the settler, al-wahib, the beneficiary, al-mawhub lahu, and third the asset, al-mawhub, and fourth sirah, ijab and qabul. These conditions must be fulfilled to practice hibah. Hi, I would like to explain more on conditions and requirements for hibah practice in the takaful. First, the settler al-wahib. This person must have a healthy mind and be an independent person. He or she must be a legal owner of the asset and empowering him or her to completely discover the degree or sum he or she wishes to grant as hibah and to whom he or she chooses. Second, the beneficiary, al-mawhub lahu. It can be any other person, whether it is Muslim or non-Muslim. If the beneficiary is not grown up yet, the asset trustee may be named to acknowledge the resource on his or her sake, as long as the individual is able to acquire the resource by inheritance as a grown-up. The beneficiary must accept the asset given and has the power to own it. That means he or she has the power to take it after the member of this fund is not left. And third, the asset al-mawhub. The asset must be halal and have value under Sharia law. Then the settlor also must have ownership over the asset. That means the asset cannot be any other person. And lastly, the ownership over the asset is transferable and is in existence at the time of the hibah. That means the asset should be the ownership of that member. And lastly, for conditions are 𝒍𝒂𝒎𝒊𝒄 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒄 and qabul. 𝒍𝒂 alludes to a verbal or non-verbal assertion or conduct that means the offer and acknowledgement of the blessing of hibah. Clear expression of ijab are such as the settler said, "I have given the proprietorship to you," or "I need these things for you." Expression of qabul are such as "I accept," "I am pleased," and any other such expression. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bariatun Nura binti Muhammad Ghani with metric number 1192418. We are here to discuss on the differences of hibah and will in property planning. Between these two instruments, there are few differences, which is hibah is a gift or offer given by a donor in their lifetime, while will is a declaration made by a person in their lifetime, but will be carried out after his or her death. Hibah can be given at any amount of property, but will only can be given 1/3 of his property. And then hibah can be given to Muslim or non-Muslim, but for will just confinement only for the Muslim people. Conflict and misunderstanding usually happen when dividing one's property after their death, and usually happen because of they got less than what they anticipated. Besides that, this problem usually occur when they completely left the inheritance distribution completely on the faraid, which is actually Islam also provide another method that also can divide this inheritance issue in a fair manner and regarding the Sharia law. Hibah is a good tool to resolve Muslim inheritance because it is a solution to deliver wealth to non-heirs, a part of will or wasiya, and faraid system. For example, for the person who just converting from non-Muslim to Muslim, they can give and apply hibah to give some part of their properties to non-Muslim family members, and if they do not do that before their death, the non-Muslim members, the non-Muslim family members will not have any right on that property after their death. There is some idea that encourage financial institution to apply hibah on property account, which is they facilitate claims directly on the heirs after the account holder dies. So from this idea, they will ensure and ease the heirs to withdrawing and distributing the property without need to wait for the inheritance order. From this, they can easily solve this matter quickly and manage this without any further problems and misunderstanding. The benefit of hibah application is to help and solve the problem in the property management of the Muslim, and also to avoid any misunderstanding and conflict that might appear in our community. And from that, we can preserve a better peace and harmony society.
Hi, I am Nur Laili binti Azman. So now, I will let you all to know one of the hibah application in Islamic financing, which is 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄. What is 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄? 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄, that means saving with security. Let me describe how can we as a Muslim to do money saving with security nowadays. Savings with security refers to the depositor that's authorizing the bank to keep the property from security purpose, from loss, theft, destruction, and so on. There have three relations in 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄. First relation of bank with customer, which is guarantee relationship, that called payment. Second, depositor, which is recipient guarantee, that called bailey. And lastly, bank, which is guarantor, that we call bailer. Okay, next, we move to the operations of 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄. At first, the bank accepts deposits from customers for savings in the form of current accounts and saving accounts. Next, the bank asks permissions from depositors to use the savings as long as the money is in its savings. Then, depositors deserve to withdraw some or all the remaining balance at any time. After that, all profits from the bank use of existing savings are the property of the bank. Lastly, bank give books, checks, ATM cards, or another services regarding current or savings accounts to depositors. So, we can conclude that from the operation of 𝑦𝒑𝒑𝒍𝒂𝒏𝒄 principle, we can conclude the concept of hibah is used as form of incentive, dividend, or consolation by the bank to attract customers to keep in the Islamic banking accounts. Externally, this incentive is similar like we call as interest in conventional systems. Therefore, to avoid paying these dividends resembles as the interest payment, the amount, form, and percentage of the payment is at the discretion of the bank. For example, in case of dividends paid on monthly basis, the method of calculation is daily cumulative balance for the month is divided by the number of days in the month, multiplied by the rate profit determined and multiplied by 1/12.
On the above-mentioned debate, it can be concluded that while the principle of hibah is not considered to be the key principle in the activity of the Islamic financial system, it is implemented as a principle of support for the activities of Islamic muamalah in Islamic financial institutions in Malaysia. Generally, when offering discounts or payment to clients, the concept of hibah is commonly used by financial institutions. The application of hibah principle may accommodate certain situations which cannot be resolved by means of muawadat, bilateral contracts or exchange contract transaction. I think that is all from us. I represent my group members. Apologize if there are any shortcomings throughout our video presentation. Thank you.